to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind you. The heart of a lion, the team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind you. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
And hello, everybody. Welcome into a Tuesday episode of YSN Live. I'm Anthony Hartwig. DJ Oakley will be with us very shortly. He's getting out of a meeting, so he'll be here very soon. We have a great Tuesday lined up for you. We kind of continue our basketball previews today as we have the head coach of the Canfield boys team, Andy Vlahovic, coming on at 12:15 to talk about the Cardinals season and what to expect out of Canfield after they made a really big run, really the last 2 years. If you think about what Canfield's been able to do, that boys team is living on high. As we welcome in DJ, as he's popping in now. And once again, we will have Andy Vlahovic coming on at 12:15. DJ is in. DJ, how's the morning? I feel like it was a pretty busy morning already for you, right?
Whew! The KGB waits for no one. What's with the
Here
green?
in Mother Russia, we go at noon.
Bow. I sent you a message. It said hang
Yeah, I
tight.
know.
Yeesh.
You sent it after I already hit the intro, so I was like, okay, we're rolling. Here we go.
That's all right. Hey, what's with the green? I gotta ask the question. What's with the green?
Oh, yeah, that's we were doing interviews, and Ty likes to change the colors.
Not a big fan of.
It was West Branch interviews, so we were rocking
okay, got it.
with the
Okay.
Warriors. But now we're back to our nice red. We love the red.
Yeah, it's been a busy morning, an exciting morning, stressful morning. Literally just got off the phone when I hopped on here, so I apologize for my tardiness. But lots of great news on the horizon. We're excited. Man alive, stressful 4 days or so, 5 days, whatever. Stressful year.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. Stressful year. For all you business owners out there, my gosh, are you underappreciated? Because everybody thinks it's real fun and real exciting to have, work for yourself and answer to nobody. Let me rephrase that. When you're a business owner, you answer to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And lawsuits are fun.
And at the same time, when people like everyone also answers to you. So not only are you answering everybody, but everyone in your umbrella, like everyone that works for you, you have to kind of keep an eye on, keep the scope on, keep the I guess I could say the sight on everything going on. So you have to take the arrows from everywhere while also maintaining order in your own little umbrella of YSN too. It's not, I've seen behind the scenes. I used to come into the office every day with you and see the behind the scenes stuff. It's not for the faint of heart. I'll tell you that.
Do you remember the other night whenever Will Otis said that, hey, you look exhausted?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do a little bit. I feel better now, working on the sleep thing, but man, I've been in some interesting conversations in the last 4 days, and I know more about live streaming and rights than I've ever known in my life. Like, it's incredible. I should have went to law school. I could have been
Should have
a hell
went.
of a lawyer.
Dang, could have been a lawyer.
I would have been a terrible lawyer. I probably would have been a good lawyer.
Like, you're good at arguing a point, and that's like, I mean, I know that's not all the lawyers do, but that's one of the good hallmarks of a lawyer is can you make sure that this point gets across to a jury in a good way?
Emphatically, right?
Emphatically.
And in the right way. Because sometimes you
Right.
got to kind of be a smart aleck, and sometimes you have to kind of like bludgeon it into somebody's face. You know, it's incredibly interesting to me. I've been the support, though. Here's what I'm going to tell you: the support that we have is not exclusive to this area. It's incredible, and we have I've told a select few people what we've been going through, and it has made its way across the state, across the country.
Somehow.
Loose lips sink ships. That's what I was told my whole life. And we got a bunch of loose lippers out there,
Come on, guys.
but
What
they
are we
care.
doing?
I know one of them's a photographer for us.
Well, we only have one, so
Narrow it down.
that really narrows it down.
I'm excited. Andy's going to be on the show, is he not?
Yeah, Andy Volakovich is going to come on at 12:15 to talk about Canfield's boys season and how they can keep building. I mean, they're a basketball program on the rise right now. They had a big run last year, a big run 2 years ago, returning a ton of talent because they had a big junior class last year. So excited to talk about them and what they expect out of this season. I'm expecting a lot of leadership on that floor for the Cardinals. They have a lot of seniors, big senior leaders.
A lot of dogs on the a lot of cards on the floor, but a lot of dogs on the floor. Real quick for Andy pops in. Yes, and part of my morning has been understanding that I haven't checked it in like 30 minutes. There's been no ysnlive.com today. Do you know that?
I got the message now, but then when I got it, I checked it and it was on.
Okay, so it's just sporadic. So what I've been telling people is we apologize for the inconvenience. There is a national outage for Cloudflare, which is out of our hands. So it's just kind of sporadic. I mean, what do you got? Anything?
Just tested right now. As of now, our homepage popped up. So as of now, we're up. So
whoa! I just karate chopped this thing.
I've done it before. So I guess now the big diss is Big Dog's working.
Well, and that was the other thing.
Because
and people are like, well, I listen, and I understand. I appreciate it. We are not extending Big Dogs any further than tonight at midnight. That's it.
We've already talked about the timing is kind of we don't want to mess up the timing because we got to get into the semifinals and then make sure that we don't overlap into basketball.
Well, and part of the issue is sometimes it has that verification.
Yeah, that's
issue.
I just got the failed to verify server.
Give me 2 seconds.
Error report.
Hang tight. Because that's what I went on this morning to try to, well, not fix that, but just make sure it was okay. And it should be, whenever it reloads, it'll be fixed. So that was the big thing is the whole site was down this morning. But if they have, much like a few weeks ago, if you remember, Amazon and a lot of the other ones were down. I don't know.
Yep.
Here we go. So, yeah, today was our day apparently. So here we sit with apparently a website back online, which is, hey, that's great news. That's big news, and we will see if we can get everything.
Big Dogs is back. I just got it. I just voted. We're good. Big Dogs is back.
Who'd you vote for?
So, undisclosed. We don't answer that. No. Honestly, whoever's first on that list, I just voted for both of them. So whoever's the top name.
This is a scam.
You just got one vote from Anthony.
YSN is a scam.
It's fraud.
What if that person wins by one vote?
Oh,
and it's your vote?
We've never had someone win by that close a margin.
17.
wild,
I'll never
though.
forget as long as I live. 17 votes.
Yeah, that was nuts.
That was tough. It's a tough look. Very tough look. We have you got Matt Mowry teed up in the background.
I didn't like, honestly, I didn't know if I was going to be flying solo. So I was like, if DJ doesn't pop up, I better get something ready. So I do have Matt Mowry also in the background that we can maybe play after Andy comes on,
Sure.
if we want a Salem girls basketball season preview as well.
Who doesn't want that? I mean,
I know,
Salem, the magic continues over in Quakertown. And Matt Mowry, who's obviously a friend of the program, being that he works with us.
Yep.
I would hope that he's a friend of the program.
Voice of the Quaker football team and
Oh,
second
yeah.
year as the head coach of the Lady Quakers.
And he's got a lot of familiar faces on that staff, which is exciting. I mean, you talk about, the success that Quaker program's had for a number of years now, because of the hard work, dedication of the staff and the belief, and, being able to see what that family atmosphere is like, even behind the scenes. It transfers over to what they put out on the floor and right in front of everybody when they kind of open those curtains up. So
Right.
I love programs like that. And I think we're going to talk to Coach Andy about that here shortly, because Canfield very much like that. I mean, there's a lot of emphasis made about the family and understanding that, you're only as good as your weakest link. So I have lots of questions about how you kind of keep the water level up during some seasons that perhaps you look at your roster and you go, how do we win games with these rosters? And I don't think Canfield's necessarily had that, but some nights you're looking at the other team's roster and you're like,
Right.
the matchups are everything in hoops, everything. How do we win some of these close contests? And Ursuline Canfield has been a rivalry and quite
Yes.
the rivalry over the last few years. So, naturally that's a team that you want to be able to beat once when it counts at the end of the year, usually when they line things up. But certainly they play during the season as well.
And the way Canfield has done it the last 2 years really is they've had so much balance. Like, you can't match up with one person and say, if we shut this person down, Canfield can't do anything. They've had so many people that kind of intricate in their scoring. They have I think last year they had a couple of people that averaged like close to 10 points a game. So it was really hard to say, okay, if we stop this person, then they're going to have a tough time scoring, because they just had so many different weapons that they could hurt you from different spots of the floor too. They could work inside. If you shut that down, they had some devastating shooters from the outside. So Canfield's been that team, especially the last 2 years. Very balanced offense, not like the superstar scorer that's going out scoring, 18, 19, 20 points per game. But when you have 4 or 5 players that are scoring 12, 11, 10, 9 points a game, that can be just as difficult, if not more difficult than if you have someone that is just that, we're going to go off and score 20, 23 points per every night. It could be even harder to guard a team that has 4 or 5 players that can really go off for, just double figures, 10 or 11.
So here's a question for you, because we talk about role players a lot, throughout the year. And obviously it's a different scenario in every sport. What sport do you think role players mean the most?
I think it's basketball, because that's where you have to find your. I mean, I'm not just saying that because we're about to go into the season. That's where, like, basketball, volleyball, you're set roles. So I guess it's obviously important in volleyball too, because like you have to have every role do their job or you're not going to succeed. But at the other time, like basketball, you got to have the guys that buy into what they're good at. And we see teams all the time that have guys that try to do too much or try to do things outside their roles, and that's when they get into trouble. So I think basketball is more important, where you have to have the buy-in to the role. I think in volleyball, everyone knows their role already, so you don't really have to buy into what your role is, because that's what you do on the court. Basketball, you have to buy into what your role is on the team. You have to figure it out, and then you have to go execute it. So I think basketball fits that kind of role mentality really well.
I'm with you 100%. I think basketball is a different animal. And I think, you talk about foul trouble, then you've got to have if someone fouls out for the night, you've got to have another person step into a role maybe they're not comfortable with. So developing them and making them 5-tool players. It's quite the conundrum, I'm sure, sometimes for coaches. And with that, I think we got to ask the guy straight off the block here about some of the conundrums he's had to deal with. But what are the grace that he's got at Canfield? Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we bring in the head basketball coach for the Canfield Cardinals. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Velakovic. Coach, how are you?
Good. Just want to say thank you for having me on, and appreciate everything you guys do for the Valley and for local sports.
Coach, an honor and a pleasure, certainly, to be spending some time with you and talking about hoops. Hard to believe it's on us already, but for you, is this a 365 thing? Are you always got hoops on the brain?
Well, we just kind of talked about this last night at our parent meeting. I think the general public just thinks that sometimes we show up and during our season or during, a game night, and they see it from 30,000 feet. But ground level is a 365-day a year job if you're doing it right and building a program. And we had 200 plus kids last night in our whole program picture, which from kindergarten little dribblers all the way through our varsity team. So we had every youth team there. So organizing an entire program is a lot of work. I'm fortunate enough I have an amazing staff and an amazing booster club, an amazing administration that kind of help us do some of that stuff. So.
Coach, since you've taken over Canfield, it's elevated into a different level. I mean, when you got this program, it was already pretty good, and then you've taken it to the next level since you've got it. How do you keep raising the standard? How do you keep raising the goals and the bar for this Canfield team every year?
Well, I think our program does it. Like this group this year, we lost 7 seniors last year. We lost our all-time leading assist leader. We lost in Drew Shapiro. We lost a kid like Jake Delisio. We lost a kid like Dom Cruz the year before. Tony Russo, Ben Weaver, those kind of guys. So this group just wants to keep proving that they're in that same conversation. And when you watch success for the last couple of years, you don't want to be the team that lets that down. And when I was fortunate enough to play for Coach Cullen in the 90s, it was kind of a similar thing. They were winning district titles, and that was kind of an expectation, and conference titles, and that was kind of always the goal and the expectation. So I think the past success just keeps setting the standard, and 3 straight 20-win seasons and 2 league titles and 2 district titles. That doesn't mean anything this year, but it does kind of set the expectation for our guys.
Coach, I was talking to a prominent figure in Canfield in the school system, and I said, with so much talent across the board at Canfield, what season is the most important, when it comes to the Canfield Cardinals? And the answer was very simple. It was very pointed. It was the next one. When you have all these players that play different sports and you have to share players here in Northeast Ohio, how much is that to be a challenge to be able to focus on basketball like you do, and like you said, 365 days a year?
Well, it's not so much the sharing of athletes. I mean, we do. Joe does a good job of that. Coach Weimer does a good job of that. Trag, we all do a good job of that. I think a couple thoughts on that. One, it's the hardest part isn't the sharing of athletes. It's the timing in which you get them. And I joke with Coach Ignazio, Coach Schneider, they get 30 seconds to call a play. I would love to have that. And they get their guys for 8 weeks in the summer, and I'd love to have that too. I think we're going to get Bryce back this week, maybe Landon back this week, maybe, but they haven't, obviously because of the great football success, and it's a credit to them and the football program. It's not the sharing of athletes; it's just the timing of, we opened with Cheney, and a darn good team in 8 days or 9 days, however long, a week from Friday. So it's more that than anything else. And the second thing is, I think it shows how important system is. If kids can hit the ground running with stuff they're familiar with and stuff that they've run for 2 years or 3 years, whether it be a defensive concept, an out of bounds play, an offensive concept, offensive system, I think we make ourselves a little more efficient so that when we are missing kids, and I guess last on that is we've taken this opportunity the last 3 weeks to make sure we get a lot of different guys ready. We've got some young guys getting some reps at the varsity scrimmages. We got some reserves that are starting and getting some minutes. And obviously some of these football guys are going to step into a little different role. So you just got to be flexible. I wish it wasn't quite that easy, but or wasn't that hard, but we're working.
You just talked about the timing of when you get players and the difficulty that brings. But the flip side of that is you get players that are on successful programs that kind of know what it means to be in a successful locker room and have that confidence of success. How much does that help your culture and your team confidence when you have players coming off of a football season, let's say, where they're very, very confident because they just had a very successful football season? They know what it takes to have a winning locker room.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that point. And our culture has been very good, and those guys only contribute to it. Guys like Landon, guys like Bryce, guys like Donnie Furco, those are Benny Ignazio, DJ Porter. Those are some of the main guys coming from football, and they do an amazing job of understanding what we are. But to watch those guys have all that success, that's going to carry over into into our sport.
Naturally, when you're talking Canfield basketball, there's a lot of success in the history. What things are you looking forward to kind of keeping as a staple as a program this year? And what things should we be looking forward to that maybe we haven't seen before?
Well, I mean, we are offensively, we are kind of a Princeton-ish team, with a lot of spacing and cutting. And, I know the game's kind of evolved from – I don't know if it's as much Canfield basketball changing as it is the game is changing. I mean, we typically have shot a lot of threes. We play with a lot of space and pace. And, last year we pressed quite a bit, which I'm not sure was, always a part of it. But it kind of fit our personnel with guys like Jake DeLisio and Bryce, who were really, really good defenders at the top of our press. And, I think we're always going to be a pretty solid, hardcore man-to-man team. That's always kind of been a staple, but I probably won't get away from that too much. I think offensively we are a little different than maybe we have been in the past, just because we probably play a little bit more of the modern game than maybe the traditional game, and it fits our personnel. And to be honest with you, I think it's really fun for kids because the ball moves, and we have goals of like having 20 assists a night, and we want to keep our 3-to-2 ratio fairly even. And kids will get yelled at in practice more for not taking. We have a problem where I have to yell at our guys about not taking the good ones, instead of a lot of coaches have the trouble of telling their kids not to take the bad ones. So the ball's going to move. We're going to play in space and pace and run some of our spread action.
Coach, one of the big reasons why you've had so much postseason success is because the conference tests you every night you're in the AAC. Talk about this conference this year. What kind of things you expect out of the other 4 teams in it?
Well, I mean, Harding returns both bigs and some really good young guys. I think they've had a ton. Keelan's had a ton of success. I've known Keelan for a long time. When I was the head coach at Harding, Keelan was my right-hand man, and he's done a heck of a job, keeping that program at a high level. Won a district title last year, but they got the 2 bigs inside. They'll be very good. I think this will be Howland's, best team in a little while. They had some young guys. I think it's their junior class, if I'm not mistaken. Has some good numbers in it, but they returned just about everybody, and I think Dan does a really good job with getting the most out of those guys. And I know, like, from a talent standpoint, they maybe haven't been near the top of the league, but they are a grind every single. I mean, you got to guard their flex, you got to guard their motion. They play well together, and they're tough. They're physical on the glass, and Austintown, I think, has. I think EJ Giles is probably maybe the most improved kid I've seen in a while. We saw them this fall a little bit in some open gyms, and he's really gotten better, kind of taking on that alpha role that they missed with Finkley last year. That they had with Finkley last year. So I think Fitch is certainly formidable, and I thought the guy that did, with all due respect to the other 3 coaches that I just mentioned, I thought Steve Flores did an amazing job in year 1, kind of taking those guys from, I don't know the exact number, but 7-ish wins to 12-ish wins. And they started out really hot, and they looked like they really had some spark and enjoyed playing for them. So I'm sure that's going to continue. I know they lost a lot of production, but I think when you start building that, building that foundation that I think Steve's built there, I think you start to kind of reload every year.
Obviously, we love the conference schedule, but Canfield doesn't back away from anybody when it comes to playing on the hardwood. Who's got you excited to maybe in the non-conference schedule that you've got a game or two circled to play them this year?
Two of my former assistants, when I was at McKinley, I had an assistant, Chet Harper, who's now the head coach at Alliance. They actually came to town last year and beat us. They have a lot of returning guys. They will be that's a very, very tough late in the season. We got that one kind of check mark just because they got us at home last year, and they have a really nice roster. They're well coached. And another former assistant of mine, Mark Comlank, is at JFK and has done amazing work there. And I think this is his 10th year now. Multiple district championships, a couple of Elite Eight appearances, I believe. So those two games, but we added Louisville to this non-league schedule, who is the Division III returning state champ. Obviously, the last year's showdown early in the season, we were fortunate enough to go over to Ursuline and get a win. That'll be a highly emotional game on December 19th at our place. We play Poland twice, home and away, Cheney, East, Carrollton late in the year, East Liverpool middle of the year, and what I think is going to be a really good West Branch team as well. Gregory's back, Jackson's back, some of those guys off the football team are back. So, and then we have two early non-conference games, one at Copley, suburban Akron school. They're Division II or maybe Division III, usually pretty good, and Parma Holy Name in Cleveland. So I think off the top of my head, I got them all. Maybe missed one.
Jeez, man, that's impressive.
I'll probably give somebody bulletin board material if I forgot. Oh no! I just talked to Kerry Palermo. No, we got Mooney too.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that would be.
You don't want to leave
board
them
material
off.
for Kerry. Yeah, no.
Palermo would absolutely use that in a heartbeat. Coach, one of the things I like to do with these previews, of course, is talk about the staff too. And I know you don't do anything by yourself, and you have a great crew behind you, whether it be the administration or your coaching staff that kind of help you build this program. So talk about the people that are working with you, the people that are behind the scenes that you couldn't do this without.
Well, first is Dylan O'Hara. He's kind of my right-hand man, varsity assistant. Dylan was a great player. Gerard, his dad, was a great coach in the Valley in the 90s. He was Westminster College player for 4 years, was the PAC player of the year, I think in 2020 maybe. He's just an all-in guy in our program, does a phenomenal job, both sides of the ball, skill development, skill training. Chris Brooks, a 2020... I got a young staff, by the way, a 2020 South Range grad, or maybe 19, somewhere in there, and then went on to play at Grove City College. Chris and I kind of share an interesting fact. I think it'd be really hard to find two people that have this stat. Chris and I both played for the same high school coach and the same college coach 25 years apart.
Wow.
That's hard to do. I played for the legendary John Cullen in the late 90s. He played for John Cullen in the late teens. And then we both played for Steve Lammy. I was in Coach Lammy at Grove City College's first recruiting class, and Chris played 4 years there, graduating I think in 22-ish or 23-ish. But he's in his second year. He's our JV coach. They were 19-1, 20-1 last year, so he does a great job there. We hired the youngest guy on staff, Jake Schneider, who was, you may remember that name, as a kid who had a phenomenal junior year and then got a nasty football injury his senior year. He tried to give it a go in college basketball, but unfortunately that knee and the health of that knee just wouldn't hold up. So he's back at YSU going to school. He's coaching our freshmen. Our kids just love him. He's that perfect kind of go-between of being a player and a young guy, but then also getting into the coaching side of things. So those guys really look up to him because a lot of those guys still remember him playing. And then Rob Donahue is back with us. Rob's a varsity assistant, longtime Canfield guy, played for Canfield back in the early 90s when they were winning a lot of district titles. He's kind of my left-hand man with Dylan kind of being my right-hand man. And then I think we have the best strength and conditioning guy in all of Northeast Ohio when it comes to basketball. Joe Carbon played at Canfield in the mid-2000s and is just incredible with our basketball weight training program. We lift probably of the 52 weeks a year, we probably are in the weight room 35 to 40 of them. And even some of our guys who don't look strong, you should have seen them before they met Joe. And I think last year when you saw guys like Bryce and Jake and Drew and Ray and Ben, you could tell that they had spent a lot of time in that weight room. So incredible staff. They're not only good with the X's and O's, they're not only good with our players, but in all honesty, it's fun to go to the office every day. It's fun to go to the gym every day because you're doing it with guys who we all enjoy each other's presence. And I told him the other day, there's been a lot of wins, but there's also been a lot of laughs, and I just mean that from a friendship standpoint.
Coach, you've been on on both sides of the bench, obviously, as a player and now as a coach. Build us the perfect basketball player in your eyes, from mentality to character, all that stuff. What makes a great basketball player to you?
I think in today's world, I think the humility piece is sort of like first and foremost. I think the teammate is first and foremost. We've all seen and watched a lot of really talented guys come along, but for whatever reason, they just weren't winners. And, we haven't produced a lot of college basketball players at Canfield, but we have produced a lot of winning teams. And a lot of that, honestly, it just starts with the way a lot of our guys are raised at home. And we really haven't. Our chemistry in our locker room has been incredible the 3 years that I've been here. And, Sure. Some people might say, well, coach, you build that. Listen, you can't take selfish kids and kids who think about themselves and overnight form them into, some kind of great teammate. So I think the humility in the teammate is certainly the first and foremost thing. From a skill standpoint, obviously, if you can pass it, drive it, and shoot it, that I think that shooting piece is sort of the big one. I think anybody that can, I tell guys all the time that if you can really shoot it, I look like a fool for not playing you. We can teach you to guard. We can motivate you to rebound and that kind of stuff. But the art of shooting is, I think first and foremost, because I think it just, I think it stretches the floor. I think it gets a lot of your drivers to be able to get and score it at the rim. And we're never blessed with like super big kids at Canfield. We've had some nice, decent size, but the game at the rim now is really off the dribble and off the drive. And if you don't have shooters to space the floor, you're kind of stuck. So if you're a humble teammate who can make shots, sorry, I got that November voice, where you've been yelling for 3 straight weeks. Yeah, I think that's the foundation of it. And then everybody else, I think the big thing and I think you guys were kind of talking about before I jumped on with you, you're talking about like knowing your role. Like that's a lot harder in today's society than it's ever been. And that's not a knock like on our guys or our kids, but I think selling kids on a role and being like, hey man, you are a lockdown defender, let's go. Because kids see the scoring and we work out with trainers and we work out with, and a lot of little things get lost in all that. And, guys who talk their butts off defensively, guys who are constantly engaged and never miss assignments. If you have to switch defenses or switch coverages or switch something, guys who are fully engaged, those are the guys we look for, so I think that would be the 3 big ones.
Flip side of that question, I'll ask, what kind of qualities do you try to grab from to make the perfect coach? What kind of coaching qualities do you always try to strive to be?
Well, I lead by my personal mantra is hands, head, and heart. And I think your hands kind of represent how much you're willing to get in and grind and dig in your program. And whether it be, at the middle school or the elementary levels and the fundraising, the booster club, which I have an amazing one. Shout out to them. And then the head part is just like, how smart of a basketball guy are you? How much can you scheme, X and O, all that stuff that people kind of see on the, roster management, some of those decision making. And then the other is your heart, like how passionate are you about your program? How passionate are you about your kids? How passionate are you about the game? I just read a quote from a guy who runs, a lot of social media coaching kind of sites. And he says, the biggest job hack in coaching is love what you do. And I've always loved what I've done, but I seem to love it a little more here because I'm from Canfield. I know a lot of our kids. I've known a lot of these families for my whole life. Graduated with them, played with them. And so I think that like hands, head, and heart kind of drive me. But I think too, you got to ever evolve. And that was one thing I learned from the guy that I played for and the guy that I worked for a year, and John Cullen. Coach Cullen always was evolving. He never got stuck in his ways. He never played the game or did things the way it used to be just because that's the way it used to be. And so as we go on this coaching journey, you throw out all the stuff that doesn't work and you try to grab onto as much stuff that fits your program, you yourself as a coach, and the talent around you. And I think probably the biggest growth in my career has been, and I'm lucky because I have guys like Dylan and Chris and Rob. Is just to deflect some of that responsibility off myself and delegate some of that stuff. I think early in my coaching career, I know I was a micromanager, and I think that now that I've gotten more comfortable in my style, and I've got guys around me multiple guys around me that kind of fit our philosophy. I've been able to delegate that, so which hopefully makes the shelf life for me a little longer. Because at the pace I was going early in my career, I'm surprised I'm still living.
Jeez. Well, Coach, if the hack is loving what you do,
it's a stressful gig.
Yeah, a little bit. The longest season of the year, and you do a fine job of making your way through it and making your team better men and better basketball players as well. If the hack is loving what you do, it certainly shows with what you bring to the table each and every night. We're so grateful that you're able to spend some time with us today. Please don't be a stranger, and thank you for all you do, not just for Canfield, but for the game of basketball here in the region.
Appreciate you guys, and thanks for having me.
You got it. Ladies and gentlemen, head basketball coach at Canfield, it's Andy Volakovich. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you. Man, I could listen to him talk for hours. He was just getting in his groove, too. He's getting in his bag a little bit at the end there, which is the best part, right? Because I love listening to coaches get passionate and started getting into their speeches a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy sounded a little bit like Al Pacino for Any Given Sunday here today. He said it was his November voice, but he killed. I mean, if you see, and I'm very, very good friends with Chris Brooks. So being able to, who, by the way, is training my son. So ipso facto, the branches on the Volakovich tree come down right here to East Palestine, baby. The next generation coming out.
Next generation, let's go.
But I mean, you look at the way that Coach Volakovich inspires his players. That takes a very special kind of person to do that, because some coaches, we're not going to say names because they're out there and everybody knows them. Everyone's had one, I think, at this point. They just kind of punch the clock and they do, the minimum. They're there. And they're there for wins. And I say this with all due respect because I respect the hell out of Andy Volakovich. I think he does it because he cares about the people, right? He talked about the booster club. He talked about the community. It just means more to these coaches. And, and one thing I will tell these student athletes, appreciate that, because you're not always going to get that. So if you got an Andy Volakovich, make sure you are just a sponge in soaking up how he handles himself, how he treats his players, how he treats his coaches. You can see it. I've seen it with my own eyes, sitting there broadcasting these Canfield games. The way that he treats people, there's a certain way, right? And he does it the right way. So thanks to Coach for stopping by the show today. Great poll. Great. I'm glad I was able to be part of this because I'm a huge fan of what he does. Coach V.
Yeah, and he's kind of proof, like you were saying, some coaches, once again, not mentioning names out there. No one, I think, in the YSN family. I think we're blessed with amazing coaches across the board. But they know how to win. They kind of punch the clock. They get wins and they kind of leave. If you're winning the wrong way, if you're not pouring into the right culture, wins eventually will dry up. And I think every instance we've seen that where they're winning, and then they lose maybe a really talented class, or they lose, a lot of good players, and then all of a sudden they can't get back to where they were because the culture is not there, because the effort isn't there to put in the family mentality and the culture. And in high school sports, it's not like college where you can just pick talented players every year, be like, hey, I want this talent, this talent, this talent, this talent. Like, you need a culture to consistently succeed in high school sports. And if you're winning the wrong way, you'll get those wins, but eventually they'll dry up. If you're winning the right way, you're going to have a consistent program for a long time.
Well, I will tell you the best conversation that I had this past weekend with a coach who I respect the hell out of. He said that, every year somebody comes up to him, hey, coach, how you going to be this year? And, for a long time, it kind of bothered him because you're never going to hear a coach say, well, it's looking rough this year. The talent pool is a little bit shallow this year. You're not going to hear that. But he came up with a response that I respect a lot, because at this stage in my life, I appreciate more so. I mean, we talk about this at length. The response was when he was asked again this year, hey, coach, how are we going to be this year? He says, well, I'll tell you in 20 or what was it? I'm butchering this. How are they going to be this year? And he said, I'll tell you in 20 years. Oh, yeah. And what he meant by that was that's great that they're going to go 22-0, right? And they're going to be successful on the floor or on the turf or wherever it may be. But he'll tell you how they are and how he's done as a coach by how these young men now become fathers and husbands and, people that are impacting everyday life and society as a whole. I don't think that we have those conversations nearly enough anymore with high school athletes. We're so worried about the 1,000-point club. We're so worried about the 1,000-pound club in the weight room. We're so worried about, the 22-0 season and winning a state championship that we don't really get to talk about and enforce listen, when you enter a room and you go into a bank, you go into a municipal building, you take your hat off, you look people in the eyes, you shake their hands, you thank a veteran for their service, any opportunity that you can, things that, kind of go unspoken sometimes. And even in the household, that coaches who are, for a lot of these kids, they are the mentors. They are the role models for these kids that will go unsung for years until you realize, you go, man, I really appreciate what Coach blank put me through because it got me ready for life to this point. And it goes for women too. Like, this isn't just a guy thing. This is a women thing. That was the most powerful one that I heard. And Coach V is a guy that 100% has the expectation that you represent Canfield no matter where you go, no matter when you go, not just when you're on the floor and you've got a jersey on. So I say that probably pulling that out of left field, and he's probably like, I didn't really say it. No, but it's the way that he expects from his student athletes and his coaching staff, who is very young, to represent Canfield with pride and dignity and to represent him in all facets of your life. So coaches like that, man.
I love that we have coaches that think that way, because it's really hard nowadays because we are in a sports society that is a win-first society. Like, are we getting wins? Are we getting personal wins for my son or daughter? Are we getting team wins? If we're not in a high school setting, oh, well, we want that coach fired. We need that coach out of here. And I think that's a trickle down from, we've seen more and more the college game, of course, become a win-first mentality for coaches. They have to win or they're going to lose their job. Everything's trickled down eventually. And I think we're slowly turning high school sports as a sports society into a win-first culture. And high school sports is not the same as college and pros. It shouldn't be a win-first culture. It should be a win as a what are the wins in high school come from what are you doing in that kid's life to make them a better person when they get out of high school? Almost like the wins as a teacher. You have to look at it as a coach the same way a teacher looks at how am I winning for my student. And I think we've lost a little bit of sight of that in as a whole universally in our sports society in high school. I think there's a lot of animosity towards coaches if we're not getting my son or daughter the looks of a college or 1,000 points or the wins on the floor. then the pitchforks come out, and it's like, hey, maybe they're not, maybe they're 13-13, but how much has your son or daughter become a better person because of that coach? But no one really, like, I don't want to say they don't care about it, but they don't see it as much as they used to, and it's not a priority as much as it used to be, and it needs to be the first priority.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. As a father, your vision changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
As to what you're really appreciative of, what you're looking at as a whole. I would 100%, as we look into, listen, he's 7 right now, Bella's 4. You look at, okay, what are we going to appreciate? I thought she was coming down. I thought I heard the monster.
She heard her name.
What? That's the scariest thing, is they go backwards on these steps. They just kind of do this. And I'm sure that there's people that will see my daughter coming backwards down these steps one day and will be like, what just happened in that house? But back to the point, and the fact of the matter is, as a dad, and I share this sentiment with my wife, is I would much rather have an 0 and blank season, not win a game, and that coach have expectations and teach what life is like out there, and my son or daughter learn how to lose and carry that, because in life there is a ton of losing. You do a ton of losing, and it's very rarely that you get to go through life unscathed, and you get to go 22-0 or 10-0 or 16-0 or whatever that might look like. But you got to be able to handle yourself. I would much rather my son and daughter have coaches that they look up to because of who they are, off of the court, off of the field. These coaches, for good reason, expect so much commitment, loyalty, desire, passion. You know, they push their bodies to the limits for these coaches, and for these coaches to sit there and say, I want you to be committed. The coaches have to show that first. And especially to children, you know, from the ages of 13 to 18, you've got to show them you're committed. You're committed to your family. You're committed to your program. You're committed to that school. You're loyal to all these things that you're telling them to be loyal to. Because if you're sitting there and you don't have that as a family, you don't have that there. If you show dysfunction, expect dysfunction. That's how it is, right? You can't expect a kid to put their hand in the pile if your hand's not in it. I want that for my kid. I could care less if they win a single game. I want them to know that, hey, no matter what, thick and thin, that guy was there for you. So in turn, you are going to be there for them. You're there for your teammates. You're there for your parents. You're there for your brothers or sisters, your siblings, your family, all that stuff. There are lessons in sports that can be taught at a very young age that I think we're getting away from, to your point, because we're worried about who's getting the trophy at the end of the season, who's getting the trophy at the end of an AAU tournament, who's in the gold bracket, who's in the silver bracket. Doesn't matter. What matters is your kid is a better person at the end of playing sports than they were when they started. That's the be all and end all. And if we're worried about trophies, we're worried about the wrong things. Now, that being said, if you can get a coach that's a winner, and a lot of times they are, and a coach that does all that stuff, what is that? Is that the Venn diagram? What's is that? Yeah.
Yeah, where they meet in the middle.
Sign me up, baby. I'm in. Did you have a Venn diagram on your bingo card today?
No, did not. Did not have it on my bingo card.
Love it.
But I'm sure someone out there had a prop bet.
No chance. No chance. By the way,
they've been waiting for it. They've been putting money on it every day. DJ will use Venn diagram.
Prop bets are under attack right now. If you're not a gambler, prop bets are under a real attack. I have a question for you, because you're a baseball fan like I am.
Mm-hmm.
Are the Dodgers? I can't believe social media anymore, because there's just, with the AI and people just making things that aren't true.
Mm-hmm.
Are the Dodgers signing like Bo Bichette and some of these people, or is it just a fake page?
I heard they signed Bo Bichette. I can't confirm everything else, but I think Bichette's going to the Dodgers.
The dude from the Mets, Pete
Yeah.
Alonso, is he on the Met? Or is he on the Dodgers now?
I haven't heard like a confirm from reliable sources that one. But I think I did see from like, the MLB insiders that Bo Bichette's going to the Dodgers.
I hate the Dodgers now. I hate them. They're people talk about the Pirates ruining baseball. The Dodgers are ruining baseball.
I mean, like the Blue Jays got so close to this proving that you can't necessarily always buy a championship, but man, those Dodgers, they just would not die.
Secondary leads, folks. Secondary leads.
Like,
if you're a better secondary leadoff man, the Toronto Blue Jays win the World Series.
I
Sucks.
can't believe 6 and 7 both ended on double plays.
6,
That's what really
7. Good show, man. Really, really good show. I didn't even get to introduce you today as the 8-time best-selling author, world traveler, Grammy and Emmy winning, and Pulitzer Prize, Nobel Peace Prize nominated, Anthony Romo Hartwig.
Yes.
Let's get to the crux of our show, which is what everybody loves. And it's the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical. They're here for you, just like YSN, 24/7, 365 on the web. It's DickeyElectric.com. All right, Ronaldo, what's your spark?
I want to give a shout out to someone that used to call games for us, did an awesome job with us, and I'm sure DJ, you share the sentiment that we're very proud of the things and the success he's able to have. Anthony Romo, I got to catch him on TikTok a couple of days ago. He's killing it. He's got like a national following on TikTok now, and he's also still calling games for YSU into this basketball season. He got on SportsCenter Top 10 again during the volleyball season, so I think that's like the third time his call has been featured on SportsCenter Top 10. That guy is so talented and he does things the right way. And I love broadcasters that kind of are able to do that and remember where they're from and kind of just have a good scope and a good head on their shoulders. And I think Romo is one of those guys, and I love seeing him succeed.
Great young man. Great young man. Work ethic. I mean, he's a dog. He will put in 24 hours a day if you ask him to, because he loves this business. And I can't wait to say we knew him when. You know, we know him now. And I think that kid, he's not a kid anymore. He's a grown man. I almost threw a thing in there. He's a man, and he is very good at his job. And I think that he is going to literally win an Emmy one day on his own for what he does. He has such a bright future ahead of him, and he was so good. The game that I'll never forget is when he and Jamie were doing that Springfield game with Ackleson, and just shite hit the fan. And like the camera went down, so they turned the whole laptop around and did the game like that and just went berserk. Was that the same? It had to be. It was the
Philly special game.
Boilermaker,
right? Because they caught it on the laptop camera.
Yep, it was the Boilermaker game, which is what Springfield called the Philly special, Philly. But yeah, absolutely. Anthony Romo, one of the best that's ever done it here at YSN, and certainly a dominant talent that is going to be. I just wish the best for him. He's incredible. So mine is going to be the fact that this weather absolutely sucks. Like it is. I was promised 60 degrees this week. That's what I was promised.
Nope.
Not even close. It was like the high of 40 yesterday. It was supposed to be 60 degrees. And
I'm afraid DePaulo.
You better watch your back there, DePaulo. No, in all seriousness, Andrew DePaulo and our friends over Storm Tracker 21, the best to do it. And we don't beat up on meteorologists. We have fun with them because we get it that their job is a lot tougher than people make. Hey, if I was wrong at my job 50% of the time, I'd be fired. What do you do now, Frank? What is it you do here, Frank? Like, that's none of your business. Okay, Frank. Onward and upward, pal. No, shout out to Andrew and the whole team over there at Storm Tracker 21. And I believe, Anthony, there's a comma in there, by the way, comma. I believe we might have some football to be had. It will be live audio. It might be tape delayed video. More to come this week, but we are working the phones as we speak. Call now. Really don't call me because I've had enough calls. I've had enough calls this week. Thank you to Andy Vlahovic for stopping by. Great interview with the head coach of the Canfield boys basketball team. Sorry we couldn't hear from Matt Mowry today, but that's going to be on the website. It already is on the website.
Yep, it already is on the website. We have Pat Carden coming on tomorrow, live on the show, talking about the South Range boys season, 12-15. Don't miss it.
You're not going to want to miss that because we're going to be busting chops with Pat Carden, old PC. Looking forward to that. And certainly, if we suck today, we promise to be better tomorrow. And if we suck tomorrow, well, that's just too bad. Stop watching us. Onward and upward, Anthony. We will be better tomorrow. And certainly, we're excited for all the – well, we're excited for our site to be up right now. That's the number one thing we're excited for because that was a tough way to wake up this morning. And Big Dog to be crowned tonight at 12:01. The Big Dog of the year starts tomorrow around noon. We will debut them on our show. We'll talk about them. Maybe we'll do a little, hey, who do you think's the front runner?
Oh, yeah.
Could be. Maybe we'll break it down a little bit with who got the most votes on the year. Who do we think's going to be out there in front? You never know on this show. It stinks. So I don't know why people waste their time, but we're appreciative that you do. We'll do it for us today. We will see you again tomorrow, high noon, right here on YSN. Anthony, may the sports be with you.
And you, my friend.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.